Hey guys, it's GirlGotGame and welcome back to our life for some more Derek! Today we're gonna do some AU stuff with him, and I don't have a lot on my list. One thing I tried didn't actually end up doing anything, so I cut that out of the video. But I'm doing something silly, I guess, now to start, which is the lemonade that we made in step 2. Because I remember thinking or pondering, does the lemonade actually change and the reactions to the lemonade change depending on how much sugar you put in? And a lot of you guys were like, yes, it does. So I wanted to see what all the reactions were to the different measurements of sugar. So we're just gonna go down the list and see what the different reactions are to start this off hot. Okay, so just a pinch of sugar. Let's see what happens. Oh, right, and then you're hurt. So I'm gonna go into like
Are you okay?
frozen mode. Sorry I couldn't do anything. Okay, so Cove and Derek tipped their cups and took full gulps of the drink. Their reactions were immediate. Cove grimaced with his back going stock straight, while Derek's back sunk inward and he puckered his face.
Did you forget to add the sugar?
The question was spit out through gritted teeth. I did add some. You boldly took a sip of the sour lemon juice, smirking the entire time. Did you do that on purpose, Molly, in-game? Derek used a hand to wipe a few drops of what could loosely be called lemonade off the grin on his face.
That's really bad.
This is really bad.
You're something else, Molly.
Cove nudged the glass of undrinkable liquid away from himself, but his enthusiasm hadn't been squashed. He had his own idea of what to do. He's like, fine, we're just gonna... You know, you could just add more sugar. At least there wasn't, like, too much sugar. Because you can't take sugar out, but you could... you know, there we go. You could add more sugar to the lemonade. It's not awful. It's not over forever.
Huh.
Okay, so let's...
Are you okay?
I can't remember what was the
You're
measurement that I actually did in the end, but it was like the perfect lemonade. Okay. They look happy, so maybe it was this one. At the same time, Cove and Derek tipped their cups and took full gulps of the drink. They savored the taste, and you watched as their reactions formed. Cove's brows lifted in surprise, and his eyelashes fluttered. Derek hummed while wiping his mouth.
This is better than I thought we'd be able to do. It's really lemony.
Derek gave a thumbs up to that.
Good job, team.
Yay! You gladly joined them in taking a sip, enjoying every drop of your hard work. It was absolutely refreshing. Cove chugged the rest of his drink, then placed the empty cup down firmly. His enthusiasm was continuing to rise. Alright, water balloon time. Cool. Fun, fun, fun. Alright, how about a full cup of sugar? What does that do for us?
Are you okay?
Meow.
You're right.
Alright, give me that. At the same time, Cove and Derek tipped their cups and took full gulps of the drink. They savored the taste, and you watched as their reactions formed. Cove smiled contentedly, while Derek cheered with enthusiasm. Ah, you like the extra sugar.
Mmm. It's good.
Derek gave a thumbs up to that.
Good job, team.
It's a perfect cup of lemonade.
Alright. Maybe it was the full cup of sugar I did. I can't remember, honestly. That was too long ago for my brain to remember. Okay, we're getting into too much sugar territory.
Huh.
So here we go.
Are you okay?
You're right.
Alright, give me that glass. And?
It's sweet.
So was his expression while he said it.
Awesome.
Yep, it's very sweet, but that's good.
Okay. Interesting. And then what about the dumping of sugar until it piled at the bottom of the glass?
Huh. Are you okay?
You're right.
Alright. I like that you can say, wait, it's not gonna be good. Actually, I'm gonna come back and do that after this, because I'm curious. Cheers, everybody. The reaction was immediate. Cove's back went stock straight, and then he spit it into the cup. Derek's face and body scrunched together, but he was polite enough to choke the gritty beverage down.
That's not lemonade, that's lemon-flavored sugar goop.
Derek exhaled painfully and chuckled from nervous shock.
It's kind of chunky.
You joined in the laughter, though yours was far more sinister. I added the sugar, just like you asked. You boldly took a sip of the sweet lemon slop, smirking the entire time.
That's really bad.
It's really bad. Undrinkable. Cool. Okay, so...
You're right.
So if I warn them... Okay, it's not gonna be good, guys. I'm gonna warn you right now. You felt crappy having to drag down their lifting spirits, but after Cove got hurt, you didn't want to add salt to the wound with a bad joke, or in that case, add sugar to the cut. Thank you. I'm like, or sugar?
Huh?
You shouldn't have let me control the sugar.
No way.
Ollie!
Sorry. Derek popped an elbow against the countertop and squished his cheek into his fist. He used one finger of the other hand to push away the glass he'd poured for himself.
We can fix it later. That's the beauty of homemade lemonade. You can always change the proportions.
See?
Yeah.
Cove followed Derek's motion and nudged the suspicious glass away from himself, but his enthusiasm hadn't been entirely squashed. He had his own idea of what to do. Alright, wonderful, perfect. And now, I think I have the next moment already in my save files. Where is it? If I can find it. Yes, there it is. Boop! Yeah, here we go. So it was suggested that I don't accept the deal in step 2 and then do the confession in step 4. So that's what I'm gonna do. So what was the question here?
So...
Is there any guy that you like? Gotcha. So I'll just be like, I don't really want to say that. And not say anything in specific. I don't really want to say that.
That's okay. I get that. It's personal.
Thanks.
Are you mad at me?
You shook your head. It was alright to just ask someone, and he didn't push anything. He looked relieved.
Cool. I hope we'll always be friends. No matter what.
Okay, are we back? Yeah. I hope so too. I want us to be friends forever.
Hi. We had a good
Cool.
summer break, huh?
And it was the best summer. I wouldn't have wanted to spend it without you. What if I give you a hug goodbye this time? Wrapping your arm securely around Derek and hooked your chin on his shoulder, you squeezed your eyes shut as though that would make your embrace even more powerful. He hugged you back just as tight. Before he let go completely, he whispered one last promise.
It's okay.
Don't worry. I'll be back again sometime.
Okay, I'll hold you to that.
Have a good one.
Yeah, I'm happy to see you all again. Did I not do that last time? You know what? Actually, don't worry. You haven't seen the last of me. I'm coming back. Putting your hands on your hips, you confidently held your head high. Mrs. Suarez giggled and partially covered her growing grin with her hand.
Yes.
I'm sure you're right.
Yeah, you haven't seen the last of me.
The little boy held his head high like you before letting out a few mischievous giggles. But that brief moment was more than enough to have you beaming with pride over his seal of approval. Hooray. Okay, cool. Well, I actually have a lot to do before we get to step 4. I gotta just make characters and stuff, so I'll bring you guys in after I've done all of that stuff. See you in a bit. Okay, so I have skipped ahead to step 4. finally. And our lovely Derek has come to pick us up from the bus. And stuff has changed now with us being in love. We're on our way, but Derek Suarez's name is ringing in my ears. And I've got this choice now that I didn't have before, so... I mean, both of these are great, but I like this one the most. The moment you saw him again, you had been hit with a realization. You loved him. Being near him was exciting to you in ways it wasn't before. Your heart was pounding. The jaunt through the city breezed by. Is that it? Is that all I get for right now? Oh my goodness. It's wonderful. Okay, let's see if we can get to them on the balcony. You'll always be their big brother. I think we did all that. Yes.
Leave it to me.
Water. What did I do? Just cool? Cool. Alright, let's rest and see what happens.
All right.
Sure, we'll tease him about his room. I would like to see that sometime. If he hadn't been holding on to something, he might have fallen over. It was such a stun! But it was oh my goodness. That's hard. It was in an entirely positive way. Nailed it first try. He chuckled, flattered.
Then maybe later.
Alright, promises, promises. Oh yeah, Father's Day. That's another thing I want to do. That's in my notes, which is invite Mr. Holden to Father's Day. Let's see. You know what? I'll make a save here. I'm not sure how exactly we invite Mr. Holden, so I'm gonna have to try a couple of things, but I still like this idea of that we were with the Suarezes all along. Okay, we can call. Let's call. Your old neighbor was an important fixture in your life, whether you were across the street from each other or not. Okay, is that the same? That is the same. That's gonna be great. There we go. Would it be alright to invite... Yeah, okay. But Derek, would it be alright to invite Mr. Holden over too? Would your dad mind?
Oh, we totally can. He's my dad's best friend, and with Cove gone, he's not gonna have a big day planned already. There's no way Dad would disagree to him having him there.
Thanks. He rubbed his hands together eagerly.
Where does the time go, huh? It's been a good decade.
The smile on Derek's face put up an admirable fight to remain upright, but it dipped enough to reveal some wistfulness in Derek's words. Is this... Okay, this is all different. As sweet as Derek was as a person, he held some bitterness inside. I know, poor sweet boy. The world really needs to pause for a second. Yeah, honestly, the world really needs to pause for a second. It's going too fast.
Way, way too fast.
It was so nice coming back to the city and seeing him. Ooh, okay. So, I could hold off. That'd probably be basically the same thing we did the first time. Yeah, let's confess. I think that's what I got written down. Let's confess. It fully sunk in that you were with Derek again after so long, yet it still wasn't enough. You wanted to truly be with him. A flare of long-hidden emotions was pressing against the inside of your chest, fighting to break through. As always, they were undeniable and unignorable. It made your heart race while your mind swam in a heat-fueled haze. In the fuzzy blur, you could still clearly recall a nice boy you'd never seen before running across the old neighborhood road to properly introduce himself one summer afternoon. You got lost further in memories of bright days spent in Sunset Bird and Prism Vista City, and of the countless hours spent talking over the phone when that became the only option. There was no way you could forget how much Derek had done for you over the years and everything you tried to do for him, though what stuck out most of all was what you did together. You were a team. He was important to you. He was special to you. Derek himself described the sensation once. You cared about your friends and family, but when you needed a partner, you thought about him. I like that Derek's, expressions are changing slightly as we're just staring into his soul. I really love this man. And as that all washed over you, Derek in the present had remained standing in front of you, waiting for something to happen. He's like, you good?
Molly?
Whoa, you can just go in for the smooch?
Dang.
Kinda wanna... Man. Let's do both. Let's do both. Hold on. New save. Boop! There we go. Let's go for the kiss first, and then do this one. In preparation for what you were about to do, you took in a deep breath. Derek watched on in anticipation. I'm most curious about how Molly is going to get this tall boy down to her level, or herself up to his level, but I'll wait and see. You launched? I mean, in order to reach him, you'd have to launch. I don't know how she's gonna do it, but you know what? I believe in her. The way you moved was slow and steady. He didn't push you away, or flinch, or move at all, and finally, the distance was closed. His lips were so warm. You tingled all over with an indescribable excitement. It was your first with Derek, and you could only hope it wouldn't be your last. When you pulled apart from him, he could merely gawk at you in complete and utter disbelief. As carefully as he'd been paying attention, he couldn't process it. Derek Suarez, I love you. You'd actually gone for it. Backtracking now wouldn't work. You could only press forward into the unknown. I know it hasn't been easy for us, and we've been away for a long time, but you've been a part of my life for 10 years. And it means more to me that you've never let things fade than it would have if we saw each other more because of coincidence or luck. This isn't coming from nowhere. I'm sure of what I'm saying and what I feel. Your whole heart had gone into the admission. Every cell in your body was willing the man in front of you to understand the seriousness of it all. Very unfortunately, his wide-eyed stare remained in place. You couldn't get a hint of what he thought. Perhaps he was lost in flashes of your shared moments the way you had been before. I was gonna say, he was very patient while you were going through moments, so let's wait. Whether you were right or wrong, you were the one left in suspense now. Painfully slowly, his stare hardened. His features went from wide open to tight and narrow. Then he opened his mouth. And he closed it again without a single sound. Derek instead pressed a hand to his chin and moved back. He turned away and continued moving. Derek had started to pace. His tempo was marked by firm, wide, quick steps. He swung his arms with two fists back and forth in stiff arcs like a pair of out-of-sync metronomes. He'd disappear around the corner edge of the balcony and come back around after he'd reached the wall on the other side. When his path had brought him closer to you once more, he stuck a finger up in the air. Both you and him seemed pretty convinced that he was going to talk that time, but he didn't. The hand dropped, and he went around again. Embarrassment from his blatant struggle added even more frazzled energy to his retreat. Pacing was a typical method of Derek for working out his thoughts or keeping busy when he didn't want to keep still. Despite that, you couldn't say you had expected this reaction to your emotional vulnerability. Yeah, my stomach would be twisting so badly because I'm like, well... Finally, while he was at a distant point of his loop, Derek shouted an answer of sorts.
This isn't bad news. You didn't do anything wrong.
Of course, the first thing that he'd want to do is reassure you, even in a situation like the one you were currently wading through. Not quite the initial thing I wanted, but okay. Derek's impotent momentum felt perpetual from how badly you wanted to speak with him, but it did help that he hadn't truly forgotten you were here. He steamrolled back towards your direction, self-inflicted and self-directed frustration on his face. Derek marched straight to you and swiveled at the last moment. However, it wasn't a full turn. He only shifted halfway around and flopped himself on top of the balcony railing. Derek ruffled his whole hand through his short brown hair as if it might get his brain sorted the way he wanted it to be. When that wasn't effective, he weakly tilted his face to rest his cheek against the metal frame instead. He stared at the sky out in the distance.
I really messed up.
The sound of his voice was crushingly defeated. He almost choked on the next words. Oh, Derek.
I'm not good enough. I never have been.
His hands gripped the edge so tight they shook.
I give up.
You gasped. Your thoughts went into light speed overdrive, yet Derek was faster. In an instant, he snapped his head up.
No.
I don't! Forget I said it. Forget all of this.
He pushed himself back to his full height and faced you directly.
Molly, if you're not having second thoughts about me, would it be alright if we could do this one more time?
Which one? What I said or the kiss? Being coy might not have been the wisest option after how difficult it was for you and Derek to get this far, but it couldn't be resisted and he took it on the chin.
Either works for me.
Okay then. He smacked his hands together in a very satisfying clap. Derek wasn't holding back now.
What do you think?
Alright. Fresh slate. You and me are on the same side here. We'll make it work. Should I start or do you want to go?
You can take this round.
Cool. I've got it this time.
Derek rolled his shoulders, then stretched his neck from side to side, and lastly he put on his game face.
Molly, there's something I want to say. It's something I've thought about for a long time.
I'm listening.
Thank you. But first, I've actually got to say something else. It's that you're incredible, and I can always count on you. And when we get to be together, it's some of the best moments of my life, and I want to be better because of you, and...
The truth is...
His words had already moved you deeply. Before taking the ultimate plunge, he threaded his fingers with yours to help ground the both of you.
I love you.
I don't think I ever heard that voice line the entirety of my Derek playthrough. That's so cute.
I really do.
Good work, team. You did it. And I love you too. You knew it. You had been so certain. You and Derek were partners. Everything about your relationship came down to the way that you supported one another. Despite the struggle to make this leap and all the time you'd been kept apart, you could still make it. The score was Molly and Derek 1, Molly without Derek 0. Derek let out a low laugh with deep creases in his brow.
Oh, man.
Damn, I wasn't prepared for this. For once.
Can we talk about what happened the first time? About that, why did you think you're not good enough? His mouth fell into a frown.
Why wouldn't I be?
Derek looked at you through wistful lidded eyes. It was enough to make the world feel cold, no matter how hot the summer sun was.
I'm not entirely dense. I knew you cared about me. That meant a lot to young Derek. But that's not the same as being the one who you'd want to share your life with, right? I could tell myself that story, and it made enough sense to get through the day. Part of me was in denial. Maybe you noticed.
One brow of his was lifted teasingly on that last line. It got you to crack a smile through the heaviness. That was probably the goal.
I don't deserve that.
I didn't want to hope. I hadn't earned that.
He threw his hands up in self-perceived loss.
And that's why it took a second for what you did to get through this thick skull.
That's not true at all. I'm so lucky I'm the one you want. He smiled. Even though it was apologetic and half-formed, it was still nice to see.
Thank you.
No matter how good and understanding you are, that only made me believe all that stuff about not deserving it more. But that sucks. You lost whether you tried or didn't, and so did I. I'm sorry I thought about your feelings so badly.
Derek was shamefaced. It was something he never wanted you to have to know. That didn't change what you thought of him. I get it. I can't blame you for that.
You're seriously great.
Thanks.
With pure earnestness and a gentle voice, he made a new resolution.
I'm not gonna quit before I've actually tried anymore. Not when you gave me a chance.
And then the shrinking Derek and the sober Derek were outshined by the excited Derek you were so familiar with. He beamed at you with his most confident and dazzling grin.
I love you.
That's the spirit. I love you too.
Woo!
In his enthusiasm, Derek flung himself around you. It almost knocked you two to the ground. Luckily, you stumbled together and managed to keep your footing. Derek had to lean over you with your legs crossed as if he dipped you in a dance and was laughing the whole time. You were giggling just as much. It was wonderful. He helped get you more upright, but you kept snuggling. You were deliriously giddy. You didn't even know what to do. You might have had to start pacing yourself, but luckily for you, you had an ideas man for a boyfriend. He already had a new direction to take things in.
You doing okay?
Nice. Adorable. Okay. I just want to see what would have happened if we had done, like, the confession. Alright. Anticipation. So do we just skip the kiss and go straight to the... Okay, and then you can, let's see. You solidly clapped your hands on top of his shoulders. I'll take a step closer. It wasn't even something you thought about. You had to be near Derek. He could merely gawk at you in complete and utter disbelief. As carefully as he'd been paying attention, he couldn't process it. You'd actually gone for it. Okay, so you just do everything except for the kiss. Let's see if anything changes.
What do you think?
Okay. You know what? I'll just take over again just for the fun of it.
Yeah, do it. I'm not going anywhere this time.
There was still a small tremble in your hands after the roller coaster ride that was admitting you wanted to be with Derek, but you got in line again for another thrill. Okay, and then you can go for the kiss. Amazing. Let's try this. Derek Suarez, I love you. And though you had said the same words as before, the experience of expressing them was entirely different. He was drawn in closer to you and he had an answer.
I love you.
I really do.
His words were so moving, you would have had to brace yourself if Derek himself hadn't threaded his fingers with yours to ground the both of you. Good work, team. You knew it. You had been so certain. You and Derek were partners. Everything about your relationship came down to the way that you supported one another. Despite the struggle to make this leap and all the time you'd been kept apart, you could still make it. Hooray.
Oh, man.
Okay, cool. Let's, what am I doing? Oh yeah, reload. Let's, go back to that save file I had done before, and, which one was it? This one. Yes.
You doing okay?
Reload, and let's see if I can skip. Does anything change? No. Okay, so this is still all new. Delightful.
Hey, so how tired are you after all that traveling? Because I was thinking, well, if you want, we could go visit our families now.
His enthusiasm was palpable, and he felt ensnared by his sparkling green eyes.
I know we're gonna see them tomorrow, but there's no law saying we have to wait till then.
That idea had you re-energized and ready to hit the road again. The corners of your mouth curled into a grin. Count me in.
Awesome. And we do have something that our family should hear about.
He let out a single chuckle and bashfully rubbed the back of his neck. Oh! Yep, we now get to tell people we're dating.
Great.
Leave it to me.
I'm gonna call my parents and let them know what's up. I know they'll be there. I'll see about getting in touch with Jorge too. If we're lucky, we might get a full house.
His mouth cracked into a fond smile.
This'll be quick. You won't even miss me. Or maybe you will. I wouldn't mind that.
You teasingly shoot him away. I won't be able to if you don't go. Get to it.
Right.
True.
Okay, is that...
Good to
now we're
see
back.
you.
Cool.
Well,
Let's
thank
see about letting everyone know that we're dating. I don't know when that's gonna start. Let's see, if it takes a while, I'll fade out, but if it's soon, you guys can, hang out with me. I'm gonna hug you guys. Maybe I didn't hug you guys the first time around. You guys are my family now, I'm gonna hug you, gosh darn it. Overjoyed, you shot forward. One after another, you squeezed both Mr. and Mrs. Suarez into a hug that they each returned eagerly. It's always tough when our kids are gone, but we certainly missed having you running around with them.
Yes, it hasn't been the same without you.
It was easy for you to think of Mr. and Mrs. Suarez as a second set of parents after all the years they'd been a part of your life. You knew they'd always be there for you if you asked.
Okay.
Derek clapped his hands together and you couldn't help but smirk. The image reminded you so much of his mom trying to bring order to her rambunctious sons. And speaking of...
So?
Yes, where are the
Hey.
bros? You're all grown up. Hug? Hug?
Well, okay.
Still, Jorge hesitated before moving forward, and when he was close enough, you caught him in a big hug. He gently patted your back. There. You're getting all the hugs this time, guys.
I'm not the only one who's changed. Have you seen a mirror? You're an adult now too.
You notice the remaining rigidness lift from Jorge's frame. Hooray. Well. It's my sweet baby boy! You pinched his cheek. Come here, you. He groaned as you tightly trapped him in a hug. You teasingly held on for a while longer.
Come on! I ain't sweet or a baby.
Alright. You let the squirming boy go, and he defensively crossed his arms. Nicholas tried to maintain his chill demeanor, but he wasn't as unaffected of a teen as he'd like to be. Good.
What do you think?
Also, while we're talking about tomorrow, that reminds me, I wanted to ask if it'd be alright for Mr. Holden to join us for Father's Day. It could be a joint party with us and Molly's family. Oh, Cliff, that would be quite an event. I'd be happy to have the company.
I figured.
Yeah, but I wanted to ask first. We'll invite him when we go down to Molly's neighborhood later.
You breathed a brief sigh of relief. The last thing you wanted was to disrupt Father's Day for Mr. Suarez. Thank you.
That is all right.
No need for that. The more the merrier, as Mr. Holden himself might say.
Hooray!
Well...
And,
You curiously peeked at Derek and watched him shift his feet oddly. A tinkle of excitement started coming off of him, and you realized what he had in mind. I'm so excited.
since we're here, Molly and I have got to tell you something.
He did it again! Dad! You keep... Can we surprise him one of these times by actually being engaged? I'm looking forward to that. Like, when I actually do the engagement route, I want him to be surprised for once.
Ah, you're in a relationship.
Dad!
Is that wrong?
What? Were we not aware of what Derek felt about Molly?
Mrs. Suarez groaned loudly and hid her face in the palms of her hands. Jorge put his hands on his hips, giving his dad a hard look.
Maybe not. We have no idea. Don't steal their thunder before they've said anything.
He's right, Gregorio. Let them talk. Mr. Suarez stroked his beard thoughtfully.
Oh. Sorry, kids.
Go on.
Derek, please keep going. What did you want to say?
Okay, okay.
Yes, forget I said a word. My lips are sealed.
Derek shot you a look that was both apologetic and encouraging. He turned back to the waiting eyes of his family and scratched his cheek. I'll go and take his hand this time. Derek started, but when his brain caught up to what you were doing, his palm slid perfectly into place with yours. You watched his expression grow more confident. He was ready.
You know it.
You got it, Dad. We are dating.
The soft way he confirmed that made your heart flutter in your chest.
I'm more than happy to say it, even though someone else beat me to the punch.
Mrs. Suarez was instantly elated by that news. She started clapping and knocked a shoulder into her husband's side.
Very good.
I hoped that was gonna be the news.
This is amazing, and quite a surprise, too.
Jorge slowly shook his head and laughed. His crooked smile grew.
That makes sense.
You two together. It just makes sense. I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
This means everything to me.
Thank you so much. And you meant it with your whole heart. A part of you was still worried any approval you'd previously had would be revoked, but you received wonderful support. And again, Nicolas is very quiet about the whole thing. Yes, breathing steadier now that the hard part was over, it suddenly struck you that someone had been uncharacteristically quiet. The audience had only consisted of 3 out of the 4 members of Derek's family. Nicolas had nothing to say, or nothing he was willing to mention out loud. Before you could pass that observation on to Derek, his subdued expression showed that he was aware. That actually didn't surprise you. He was never one to ignore his little brother. Nicolas hung behind the crowd. Derek maintained eye contact with him. Since there was nowhere to hide, Nicolas plastered a smile on his face. But he still wouldn't speak. Derek was equally silent. There was something there, and he wasn't going to open that can of worms in front of everyone. Because we never, went any further than that in my initial playthrough. He was just, gave us a smile of, congrats, and that was kinda it, so, Instead, he glanced down, and your presence chased his worries away. His joyful excitement reignited. You followed Derek's lead and allowed yourself to be happy. There would be plenty of opportunities later to talk everything out with Nicolas. Yes, indeed. It's interesting because, he was the one that took the initiative to talk to us and say, hey, look, Derek's always liked you. So I always thought it was kind of weird, but maybe I'll get my questions answered later. That or I already did and I've forgotten them. That sounds like something I would do. The rest of Derek's family continued to voice their sincere encouragement of your relationship before letting the conversation calm down and shift. Things returned to the usual comfort you enjoyed when you were with the Suarezes. And then we had lunch.
I swear.
I'm gonna surprise Mr. Holden. The corners of your mouth curled mischievously. Or do I want to call him? Hold on. No, this is a text. Okay. I know there's something involving, a phone call? Or something? That's the only time we, get to see Cove in this DLC. Or hear from Cove, anyway. So... well, we'll see about that. You had a good feeling he'd be home this afternoon. And we're here. Well, I do have a question for you.
Oh?
Oh yeah? Ask away.
I know you're not really my dad, but I'd like you to be with me on Father's Day. We've come to invite you to the Suarez Father's Day celebration. Want to come with me tomorrow? You laced your fingers together and waited for Mr. Holden's obvious shock to pass. Mr. Holden placed a hand on his chest with a thump, giving himself a bit of a jump start, then grinned from ear to ear.
Really? I can come?
Of course. I wouldn't invite you if you weren't welcome.
Molly is right. My family loves you, and
He paused, glancing over at you. Derek knew how much this invitation meant.
you're important to everybody that'll be there. So, would you join us?
You could see the tears start to form in Mr. Holden's eyes. He was trying with great difficulty not to get too emotional. I love Cliff. He's so great.
Okay.
Then I'll be there. Just tell me when and where.
It's no problem.
I'll text you the details later tonight. Great.
Mr. Holden shifted uncomfortably on his feet. He was still feeling overwhelmed by the situation, but he shyly faced you.
I hope you've been doing well.
I have. It's been good.
Really good.
How's it going?
Alright, okay, and we're back. Hi, moms! And glump.
That's
I know I always hug them. There was certainly a lot going on in your and Derek's lives. You had an inkling of what was once again coming to mind first for Derek. His body went stiff, and it was obvious that for once he was struggling to find what to say. Understandably, Derek wasn't as confident in front of your family as he was with his own. He knew with his own family that he'd be supported unconditionally, but here there was an underlying fear that he might not be good enough for this audience. I know I can like do all this like break the news myself moments, and I might do that with like the engagement some of the time, but I always like having the guy do it, especially when they're so anxious. I'm like, you got this, honey, you got this. I believe in you. There was still uncertainty in his eyes as his lips parted to take a deep breath, but your surety helped it lessen. Then Derek faced your parents head on.
Actually, we have had some eventful days. Before anything else, I want you to know that Molly and I are in a relationship now.
It took a second for the news to register, but it hit like a string of dominoes. Both of your mom's eyes went wide with surprise, and then Mr. Holden's did too. I forgot that he was here. Mom bent forward with a soft chuckle and loudly snorted.
It happens.
I thought this might happen ever since Molly invited him to that soiree, remember? Ma hummed nostalgically. She reached over and threaded her fingers together with Mom's.
Yes.
Derek has always been quite the gentleman. It didn't escape our notice that Derek has had an interest in our Molly long enough for us to know he means it.
True.
He's a keeper.
Molly is an excellent kid, and I know for a fact that Derek is a great guy. I'm sure things are gonna work out for you two.
And with that, Derek let out a relieved breath. You were ready to steady him out of worry that he might fall over with the release of his inner worries. Steady him with what? You'd be squashed, girl. But he brightened with a bold grin. He exuded so much confidence that you could almost believe the former tension never happened.
Thanks. I appreciate it more than I can try to describe.
You bet. She reassuringly went over to Derek and patted his arm. Her gaze affectionately moved between you and him.
The two of you are responsible adults and know what's right for you. If being together is it, then I just wish you both the best.
Ma came forward and clasped Derek's hand.
Thank you for always treating our daughter so well.
You're welcome.
Even as friends, I'd never want to do wrong by Molly.
You shifted your attention to Mr. Holden for his opinion next. He proudly gave you a thumbs up.
Absolutely.
The two of you ladies hit the nail on the head.
Thanks.
Now.
Come now and tell us about how it all happened. We need the details.
Spill the tea, you two. The group relaxed and hung out in the living room. Each person shared updates from the past and plans for the future. Alright.
See you.
Take care. I'll see the two of you tomorrow.
Bye! Cool. You were only here on a visit, and your boyfriend, Derek Suarez, had joined you. A true twist on the story of older days.
Thank you.
He gently slipped his fingers around yours. It made your heart flutter joyfully. Ah, look at you two being all affectionate. I love it. Derek moved with wide, carefree strides. You giggled as your linked hands swung with each step.
Well, damn, that went better than I expected. With our families. Though, even saying it out loud to them still hasn't made it feel totally real yet. There's no way you're actually dating me, I think.
It honestly feels like a dream. Taking a deep breath, you let yourself think about the magnitude of the entire situation. It was kind of scary, but also just utterly exciting. But the very best kind that I never want to get up from. Aw, adorable. Derek cracked a smile before letting his gaze fall to the ground. The conversation hung on that note. The walk continued, and you had a good idea of where he was going at that point. Oh,
This
yes.
sucks.
Do you think you've messed something up? He chuckled, but it was the farthest thing from being reassuring. You nervously chewed at the inside of your cheek.
I really messed up.
I've messed up a lot of things.
That was all that came of it. Alright.
Okay.
Are we gonna do... I guess we're still gonna do that, like, soccer ball venting of feelings, probably. Wait, I want to be in the picture too!
Oh, sure.
You held your hand out in the air above the markings, and Derek went with another thumbs up. He snapped the picture.
Now it's perfect.
Yeah.
Oh,
alright.
phew.
And then we made it back. I've practically forgotten I don't live here.
Well, that's easily fixed.
Derek then snorted and shook his head. I assume we're still gonna have that conversation at the Ferris wheel too later? I'm assuming a lot of things. I should just probably shut up and wait for the game to like show me if any of this stuff is actually happening. Zip. There we go.
Or maybe not easily. I just remembered when I last moved. Still, you're welcome around here anytime.
Okay. Let's see. Also, before I go any further, I forgot to... What happened to my notes? My notes disappeared on me. I need to get that back. Otherwise, I'm gonna be in the big trouble, and I'm gonna skip over something I'm supposed to be doing. Where have you gone? There you are. Wonderful. Okay. I only have a couple more other things I want to try, so that's, that works out. And we're back. Let's see. Let's get something gift-wise. Yes, good for both of them
No
this
thanks.
time. Well, hello there.
Sup, lovely lady?
Hi. Pat pat. Come over here.
Oh.
Yep, I got everything.
Cool. Let me know if there's anything you need.
He wasn't being responsible and going to bed early. You didn't mind. This was your first day having gotten together, and there was no need to rush its end. A spark came to his eyes, inspiration striking him. He instinctively leaned closer to you, bringing your faces almost nose to nose. Ah, the water park.
Oh, man.
I'd love to go, but we're actually going to do something different this time, which is go to the work lunch.
Wait.
Wait a second.
His eyes went wide as something dawned on him. Oh, true.
Would that be... a date? Am I asking you on a date?
That's kind of up to you, I'd say. The realization hit him hard. Derek's teeth were clenched and he leaned back as he tried to process. Like, oh no, I gotta plan this a lot better than I had originally planned on planning. Ugh.
Oh, hold on.
He held his hands in the air in front of you frantically and gestured for you to stay.
I gotta go do something, but I'll be right back. Please, well, you know.
He launched himself off the bed and across the floor. He fled the room before you could blink. You stayed put, not sure what else to do. Derek should be okay. Hopefully. This guy keeps running away from me now. Confusion was your main emotion. Derek unwittingly asked you on a date and then ran off? I mean, considering his reaction when we went for the smooch and confession, I think we should probably get comfy with this is his reaction to things. You waited in silence, occasionally tapping your foot. It had been about a minute until your phone rang. Oh my god. Are you calling me to ask me on a date? Because you're like, this is how it was supposed to go down. You couldn't help but chuckle at the absurd timing of the interruption. You glanced at your phone on the side table and then craned your neck to see if Derek was anywhere to be found. Derek wasn't in the hall. You went over to your phone and picked it up. You didn't plan on answering, but did want to see who in the world needed to ring right at that moment. Take a guess. The name lit up by your caller ID was... Derek. What? You paused, doing nothing but staring at the jiggling device in your palm. Then you slid your finger over the screen to answer. Hey there, what's going on? Derek chuckled. You could hear the nerves in his voice, even through the slight distortion from the phone.
Hello.
This is Derek Suarez. You were on my mind, and I want to see you. And so I'm calling you to ask if you'd agree to go on a date on Monday.
You're such a goober, you know that? You instantly laughed, of course, loudly but affectionately. Why did you have to call to ask me that? People arrange dates in person all the time. Derek hesitated before responding. Then he replied, soft and shy.
Well, if you want the truth, since I was finally asking you out for real, I felt like I owed it to my younger self to do it over the phone.
I knew it. That only gave you more questions. You waited for him to continue. His voice quieted to almost a whisper.
There were... over the years, I've thought about you a lot. You've never been forgettable.
I missed you.
No matter how busy I was, I still remember how great it was hanging out. And then I'd hype myself up, tell myself to pick up the stupid phone and ask you out. It wouldn't be the end of the world if you didn't want to, and hey, maybe it would work out. I'd march over to the phone, put it to my ear and my fingers on the buttons, and then... nothing. I'd put it back down with a sigh and think about how I didn't really have the time, and you were probably busy, and you wouldn't want to date me anyway. This time I did it. I really called you, and I said what I wanted to say.
Well, that's frustrating. Why would you think that? I wouldn't have said no if you asked. You would have treasured hearing from him, and going out would have been wonderful. You had missed him too. Derek laughed, a short and uncomfortable sound.
Thanks. Sucks even more that I didn't do it, but I'd still rather hear I missed the chance than that it was destined for failure.
No one spoke, and the awkwardness began to press on you. But Derek brightened his voice, unwilling to let it linger any longer.
Well, it's late. I shouldn't keep you up.
I don't think I've agreed to the date yet.
I'll see you tomorrow, bright and early. We should plan to leave the apartment by around 8 for shopping. Everything's close enough that we can walk, if that's alright.
Okay.
Good night.
Great. Good night, Molly.
Good night, Derek. You heard a beep, and the call ended. You put your phone back on the table in your empty room. After all of that, you had earned your exhaustion. You were at your limit. Too sleepy to do anything else, you flicked the light switch and went straight to bed. Wonderful. And I'm wondering if maybe with that I should just stop for right now, because I feel like we're gonna get at least another hour of extra stuff with Derek, so... Instead of it being like a 2.5, 3 hour bonanza of Derek, let's enjoy our time with this boy, shall we? So, I love what we're getting so far, the alternate scenes we've had, and I'm looking forward to seeing what else is in our future. Hopefully I'll see you there, guys. Until next time, I will see you later.